I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, and welcome to the SVU After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. So excited to be here. I'm Yael Teagle. I am joined by the lovely Taylor Gates. Hello, Taylor.
Hello.
Hello. We are talking season 21, episode 19, Solving for the Unknown.
We are indeed.
Yeah.
Unknowns.
Before we jump into the episode, let me remind you all of the hotline. If you have been assaulted, if you need someone to talk to, please reach out to RAIN. Their hotline is 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673. Taylor, you want to tell us about spells?
It spells hope, everyone.
It
does. A little fun fact for you.
Also, sometimes the show gets really dark, and therefore we must make light. So please consider this your content warning before we jump in and I say something offensive.
Love that. Dun. Am I right?
Absolutely. I'm pausing for the dun-duns. You all know where they are.
I'll just do it. I'll manually do it. Dun.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What did you think of this episode, Taylor?
I really liked this episode. It had sort of a scavenger hunt feel in a way. I predicted several of the twists, which made me feel very smart. Although there was one big twist I thought was coming that never came. So we'll talk about that as well, because I was like, oh, I bet this is going to be this huge twist. And then it didn't actually happen, but it would have been great, just to let you know. So the writers want to go ahead and take notes when I say it. That's fine.
I can't wait. I can't wait to find out what you thought was going to happen. Let's start off with some of the personal stuff, because Rollins got promoted.
She did.
Yes, she is now a detective second grade, which I don't know that we had seen that type of promotion happen on the show before.
I mean, she passed first grade.
Yep.
Yep.
It's funny because it reminds me of the episode where her mother comes to town and the Kim stuff with the flautist, and her mother is like, you're not getting promoted, you don't have a man. So look at her, she got promoted.
And only took 5 years, Mom.
Yeah, great. And then the other big personal news, which I feel like we have to discuss because it's amazingly wonderful.
Of course.
Kat essentially came out during this episode.
Listen, I was looking all day yesterday at our old after shows because I knew it. I called it and I said it, and you said that's not confirmed. And I said, well, there is no way that she is not. And so I couldn't find the actual clip, but I just wanted to let y'all know that we've been new.
The coming out quote was, in fact, you know how many times I've seen someone's profile and then met him or her and they look nothing like they say?
Iconic.
Amazing.
And everyone just okay, we just brush right past it, which I actually love. I loved it. Deal. Yeah.
I think it was the right way to do it. I think 100% to have her say it, no one blink, and it continue.
Yeah, agreed. I thought it was great. And I hope that this means we get to see maybe a little bit more of her love life. I don't know. I just love Kat so much. I'm willing to let them do anything with her and I'll be riveted. So
yeah. And she was great this episode.
She's always great, but you're right. She was very great this episode too.
That's true. She's always great. Let's jump into the episode. So we start with a girl driving her cupcake truck into some cops.
I was like, where is this going? What does this have to do with anything?
Yeah, I was like, who are these cops? We've never met them.
I kind of loved it though. It kind of faked me out on the direction this was gonna go. I was like, maybe there's something with the cupcake shop, all that. Nothing ever happened with that. But
all right, I like where your head's at.
I mean, I don't know. That's a bizarre thing, That's a bizarre detail.
That's true. So she's arrested. Has this weird behavior. I really liked the blow into the mouthpiece and then her being blow out.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, yes, that is confusing.
Looks like a straw. Yeah, you'd think, but.
Yeah. And then the fingerprints where she was like, oh no.
Ow! Yeah, it doesn't hurt, ma'am.
I would 100% be like, is it hot? Is it?
Me too. I would be worried because if you're like in that, I mean, obviously we have the added state of her like being drugged, we find out, but it's like a weird thing. Like I just probably think it would hurt too. I don't know what's going on.
Anyway, so she is arraigned, and Finn and Carisi happen to be there. And she's like, wait a minute, I remember I was raped.
Yeah.
And that's how the episode starts. I really did like this weird, crazy, like, to get to the story, we have to do all of this.
We had to jump through several hoops.
Yes. So her name is Jill. She's 35. She was sexually assaulted and then drove her truck into a patrol car. She was barely over the legal limit, but the doctors were like she was wasted. She said that her brain wasn't working, that nothing felt real. I really did like the way they portrayed this because, you know, if you know how drugs work, you're like, which drug? Like, oh, that's the symptom of this drug, or that's the, you know, like you in your mind are trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah.
So I really liked that.
Yeah.
She went on a date with Luke from the True Heart dating app.
True Heart, though. True Heart.
What app is that trying to be? Is it eHarmony?
I think it's just all of them.
All of them?
It's so funny because it does sound very like pure. Like it doesn't sound like it would be a Tinder. It sounds like a Christian Mingle type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? True Heart.
Yes.
Fair.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So she remembers having 2 drinks, then feeling not herself. Her memory is blank until she starts driving. I don't know. When you're driving and you're not capable of seeing what you're doing, shouldn't you stop?
Pull over? That's what I'm saying. I'm like, you work, so you do remember. So why did we continue to go?
Right. If you're like, wow, I can't see the street, I'm gonna hit the brake.
Yeah, perhaps pull over. Just a thought. Just a thought.
She said, my body wasn't listening to my brain. I felt drugged. I really like that. My body wasn't listening to my brain, because I feel like that's what we saw with the breathalyzer.
Exactly.
And then he ghosts her because he deleted her from the dating app. Ooh, shady.
Shady. We said it at the same time. Shady.
I've been hanging out with you too much.
Yeah.
So Rollins is like, we'll call the dating app. And I was like, they're not
going to do anything.
No. Meanwhile, they take her for a rape kit and a talk screen. Finn and Rollins talk to this bartender who remembers the girl kind of, and then talks about how the guy paid in cash and counted it out loud.
I knew this guy was sketchy from the get-go. I knew he was involved because of all the details they planted. They were like, first of all, he was too cooperative. And whenever a witness cooperates, something wrong with them, because they always have to be like, yeah, like he was walking his dog near me and pooped on the floor. Like they have to like complain about something or like not cooperate. This guy was cooperative, so I knew he was sketchy. And then he also said he was a freelancer. And I was like, I don't know. I think that information has to come in handy because you wouldn't just plant that for no reason. So I knew it.
I love that. So Finn asked for the camera footage and he's like, it's not mine. I'm freelance. Sir, have you never worked anywhere before?
Right.
Like, is this your first freelance gig?
Exactly. That's when I knew. That's when I knew.
Because he was rude. He was cooperative and rude.
He was cooperative and rude and a freelancer.
All right. So then they use the cameras at the bar and the street cams. And I'm like, you guys were tracking these people for hours. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's an hour missing between them leaving the bar and walking down the street and her going to the truck for the kiss goodnight. She's standing but not responsive. And that's the first time I feel like there could have been a drinking game every time Benson said drug facilitator rape.
Right.
This was drug facilitated rape.
It sure was.
It sure was. Thank you.
It sure was.
Benson's played a drinking game by herself.
Yeah.
So Finn and Kat go and search the blocks in the missing footage. They talk to the bodega guy, who again points out that the guy counts out his cash. I was waiting for that to come into play.
Right. Me too. That was very, like, that never mattered. Okay, it's fine.
I would have even allowed it if like it then turned out that his apartment was like spotless. He was like a neat freak, so everything had to be perfect. You know what I mean? Like that's why he counts it out is because it's exact change.
Right. No, he just doesn't like credit cards, I guess.
I guess. I also just recently watched the from season 3 the episode with uh Ritter. What's his name? John Ritter.
Oh,
Where he was a neat freak and everything was, and so then I was like, oh, these guys are connected.
it must make a difference.
No. But the bodega guy knows the address, so we go and meet Luke.
I love how Finn went in there. Pizza, 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 baby. That was so good.
Finn was great this episode.
He was so funny. Like he's always like has so much good comedy, but I just the way he delivers it, like no one but Ice-T could do it. Like no one but Ice-T could really have pulled that off, I think.
So we meet Luke. He's like, I thought we hit it off at the bar. I asked her to come back here. We had sex. I always ask these days. Does that mean that in previous days you didn't ask?
Yeah, it's fine. He's one of the nice guys. Okay.
I'm sorry. In case anyone didn't know this, PSA. When you say I'm one of the nice guys, you know what that tells me?
You're not one of the nice guys.
It tells me that.
Yeah.
Good to know. All right. He's like, I walked her to her truck because I'm a gentleman. He messaged her the next day to tell her what a great time he had. And Kat's like, oh, did she say she had a great time too?
No.
Nah. Now that you mention it, she messaged me back something weird.
I was shocked that he was so cooperative.
Well, he obviously knew that they knew something.
Yeah, but still, like usually they lie and then they find out that the person lied later. And he
Right.
he wasn't honest, but I was like, oh, like he's telling them like the story's matching up, which I was surprised about.
I mean, what's the one thing we've learned from one of the many things we've learned from Barba is, they admit what you can't deny what you can't admit.
Yep, very true.
So Luke says, I didn't know what she meant by her text. I support all the Me Too stuff. I'm one of the nice guys. I'm sorry, what does that mean? I support all the Me Too stuff?
Said no, but he goes, I support all the Me Too stuff, but also it's going too far. Like, then do you understand how that doesn't match up what you're saying? Like,
right. I just don't understand what that means. I support all the Me Too stuff. What are you supporting?
Right. Okay.
I support women coming forward. I support, men being taken down for their assaults. What is I support all the Me Too stuff? That's like being like, yeah, I believe in Black Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Either you do or you don't. It's not a yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. The talk screen comes back negative. We hear from Jill. She's worried no one's going to believe her. And then we have Benson being the Bensoniest. Says, we believe you. Your demeanor, everything you described is evidence to us.
So good.
I love her. I love her so much.
Wonderful.
And then Jill's like, still, it's hard to convictions on something like this. And I liked how lawyer mind this victim was.
Yeah, she knows what she's up against. Like, this is not going to be easy to sort of prosecute. And I also like how she was just like, why aren't you guys doing anything? Why aren't you guys stopping? Like, she gets it, which I was like, I'm glad that she sort of understands. Like,
yeah,
that this is going to be challenging.
I agree. So Benson talks to Carisi and tells them that there were no priors for Luke, but this was well planned. That it has to have not been the first time. I like the research they start doing into him. Kat says he has a boring ass Facebook. I think that
is as magnetic as you.
Right. Finn's anti-apps, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like an old school mentality, but that's fine.
Right. It feels very much to me.
Yes. Right. It feels like there's definitely an episode, I want to say in season 1, where Munch is like, if I don't have to fight for it, what's the point?
Exactly.
So Rollins finds a similar case in Brooklyn. which takes us to Rebecca Larson. I have to point this out. So Rebecca Larson is a repeat offender for SVU, played by Susanna Flood. She was in Intimidation Game, which is the Gamergate episode.
Oh, yes.
She's the girl at the booth who gets assaulted at the beginning. But you may know her from For the People, which is that lawyer show on ABC that starred our friend Jasmine Savoy Brown.
Yes. Oh, she was great in this episode. I liked her.
I really loved her in this episode, and it's such a different. She like played it so differently than her last character, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
Even though they were both victims.
Mm-hmm.
So she says the Brooklyn cops gave up after the talk screen was clean. Benson's basically like, we're gonna reopen this case. She's like, I had one beer and I was awake, but I couldn't open my eyes. I felt limp. I couldn't move. I knew I was on my bed. I knew I was naked. Someone was on top of me. She says her body was shaking and then her eyes popped open.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought her in for a lineup and she remembers Luke's chin.
I do want to point out that she had perhaps the most like subtly savage line before that when they questioned her. He was like, "Oh, did you go out with like Luke?" And she said he wasn't hot, but he seemed fine. Like, that's so harsh. Like, I love how much of like a burn that is, but like in a very subtle way. It wasn't hot, fine. Like, just completely ambivalent about like the entire situation, which I thought was so funny.
I mean, haven't we all been there?
He wasn't hot, but he seemed fine.
Yeah. She identifies him in the lineup by his chin. Can we talk about that for a second?
I think it was smart though, because I mean, she was laying there for so kind of long, and like, I think it makes sense.
No, it totally makes sense. It seems like a very odd feature, and I appreciate that we have something different in this episode.
Yeah, for sure.
So they have him lean up so she can see the bottom of his chin. She's like, that's him. And then we have the moment that I couldn't believe happened, because Jill was like, oh, you can't convict on cases where there's no evidence. Oh, I know that this is going to be difficult. And then she almost tanks the whole thing in that split second where she's yes.
I thought she was going to. I really thought she was going to. I thought that was going to come back and like really bite them.
Honestly, I think had it gone to trial, it would have ruined the case.
Yep. But I understand. I mean, I understand them wanting to talk to each other though. Like,
right.
Because it's like you've gone through this thing where you feel like you're completely alone and you just want someone who understands. And like Rebecca said, like someone, I mean, seeing her made her feel not crazy. So it makes sense to want to sort of connect.
Absolutely. And I really like the way that Rebecca brings up this, she started to doubt herself because she had no memory, or her memory was foggy. And, we hear from the other victims that they didn't go to the police because they had no memory. They just knew something happened. So Luke then identifies both women as women he's dated. And Benson is like, one woman, sure, your word against hers, but two women. I love that. Because it really feels like she's like, we would have believed you. But
there's two of them now.
Like, sorry, we were on your side.
Yeah.
I loved it. So they ask him, we search your apartment, what we find? He's like, not drugs.
I'll tell you what, not drugs.
So a body, guns? What are we gonna find? Little boys? What's in your house?
Well, not drugs.
That's good. So Ken and Rollins go to the second bar, the one where Rebecca was raped, and they talk to, I think, my favorite character this whole episode, the hostess at the restaurant. And they're like, do you remember who was working? She's like, 4 months ago Friday. Yes.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
I really thought the way she said it, she was going to be like, no.
No, but I can check.
Right. So funny. So she pulls it up on the iPad, and it seems that there was a freelancer because there's an app for that.
I knew it. First of all, I knew it from when he was being collaborative. And then the second time I knew it was when she said she was careful and only got one beer in a bottle. And I was like, How was that going to work? Obviously, the bartender.
Good for you. Good call. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I never get these right. So when I do, I really have to rub it in.
I also want to give a shout out to Doreen in the chat who was like, there's an app for that.
There's an app for that.
There is an app for that. Although, is there an app for that?
Probably.
For freelance bartenders?
For sure. I bet.
I just can't imagine. Whatever. I just feel like if I were a bartender at a bar that used an app for freelancers, I would feel like they're screwing me over for employment issues. Just saying.
I mean, that's valid, but I'm sure there are
Right.
apps for that.
So that gets us to our bartender, Ash. Rollins and Kat question him. Luke has called him 6 times over the last 6 months. And he's like, I give my number out to a lot of people I was following. I want to be like, show us your Instagram.
Right.
Prove it.
Yeah.
Prove you're following.
Probably like that one girl in the episode that's one of your favorites with like 6 followers. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Of course, that episode is intense. So with the influencer and the monster.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I was just watching Catfish the other day and they brought that up because someone was using the same photos in that real life case on Catfish. And I was like, I know this because of SVU.
Yeah, quality television.
Absolutely.
So Ash is not helpful and doesn't give them anything. Benson and Rollins talk to Creasy. They're like, Luke had an accomplice. We think it's this bartender. He was a chem major. He was kicked out for conducting drug trials.
There you have it. I mean, there you have it.
Yep. Luckily, Joe was at Luke's arraignment. And Creasy mentions that he might have an accomplice. And she's like, oh, it's the bartender.
Well, yeah, actually, now that you mention it.
Which gives us probable cause. Yay! So they get a warrant for Ash's apartment. They find his computer. This part I loved. There's a folder with Luke's name, and in there are video files, and they are dated with the rapes. There are 4 other folders with other guys' names, and each of those have videos. It turns out to be about 26 rapes, and the files can't be opened.
See, now this is where my wrong prediction comes in.
Go on.
So this guy is tech savvy, obviously. He knows how to lock these files, do all this stuff. Benson mentions maybe he used cryptocurrency or something. This guy's tech savvy. I thought that perhaps he was involved with Trueheart, the app, and there was some big scheme with Trueheart. And it was like this app that was super sketchy, and like people were using this app for all these like shady purposes. So I really thought there was going to be a Trueheart connection with Ash.
But I would have loved that.
But it made sense, right? Because he's like, he knows how to use all of these like technology things. Like maybe he helped design this app for like all these sinister purposes.
I totally could see that making sense.
I really thought I was onto something, but not this time.
I'm really proud of you for your crazy theory. It worked.
Thank you.
So Benson calls a press conference. She reveals Luke's name. She gives out details to get more victims to come forward. We have 2 victims who come in and a mom who calls them in. Finn and Kat are taking statements. I miss the way Finn talks to victims.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing this where he was just like kind, gentle Finn, I miss that so much.
Yeah, he's so good because he like still has his own little Finn way, but he is so like compassionate and like just calming, like in a way.
Mm-hmm. So one of the girls reported Luke to the app 5 times. They did nothing. My note's like too real.
Too real.
I mean, how many times have you all, I'm saying myself and you all as well, reported, racist comments, sexist comments, offensive things on any social app and nothing happens?
Yeah.
Too real. So Benson and Rollins go to the woman's home. Her daughter had a stroke the night that she was raped 3 months prior. Piper got home. She felt wrong. She called her mom. They went to get a rape kit and she had a stroke.
Yep.
The doctors say that the drugs could have triggered it, and they didn't end up calling the cop because she had no memory of the rape. So Benson and Creasy go to talk to Luke to get him to turn on Ash. They show him more of the victims and tell him that if Piper dies, he's looking at murder.
I love that they use that. It's like, well, this girl
Absolutely.
might die, and then now, oh, surprise! Not only are you going to be charged on rape, you could be charged with some murder cases, sir.
I loved it.
Yeah, me too.
I really hope they told her they were going to do that, and she was like, "Yeah, do that."
Go for it.
Right. I feel like she would be like, "Yeah."
Me too. She was awesome. I loved her.
She was so good. He's like, no, she was fine. I put her in a taxi. She was walking and talking. That's like all of them work. All of them work.
Right.
That is how drug facilitated rape works. Take a drink.
Thank you, Olivia. Yeah.
He said all Ash told him was the girls would be awake but compliant. All Ash wanted was the videos. They were his clinical
trials.
I really wanted that. I want us to go down a path there.
It was so weird. It was so weird and like skewed.
Yeah.
And interesting. Like it added like a weird layer to everything, I'd say.
Luke said he doesn't keep the videos because it violates the girl's privacy.
Okay, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything. We're just not even gonna go there.
All I want to say is just a reminder that the kind of guy who says I'm a nice guy, not a nice guy.
In Finn's words, nice for a rapist.
Absolutely. So Ash told Luke that Rebecca's wore off too soon, so he cooked something special up for Piper, which led to the stroke. So Luke is sent to meet with Ash.
I just want to say the way he worded that. Oh, sorry. No, go ahead. We're not there yet. I think I jumped ahead. Sorry about that.
Okay. So Luke meets with Ash, and I really appreciate that Ash comes out, and his first question is essentially, WTF?
Yeah.
Because I know that if I were Ash,
which thank God you aren't.
Nope, don't know chemistry. Also, all the rest of it, not the point.
But chemistry.
But chemistry is what holding you back. So, like I said, we provide a content warning. All right. If I were Ash, I would not take the call from the rapist who's going to jail.
Right.
And if he's like, I'm going to meet you, I'd be like, no.
Here's the thing. You're not, though. Okay?
Right. Not Ash. So Luke tells Ash that Piper had the bad reaction, that she might die. And then we have my favorite line, which is, my work is artisanal. I tailor each bag.
This is the line I wanted to talk about. This is where I jumped ahead. Because, like, what kind of hipster, like, chemist like this? Like, you sound like you are a mad scientist, but one who works at a farmer's market or something. You know? I just love his whole vibe was just so ridiculous in every way.
I kind of wish we would have had more of him in his bartending state to hear him talk about the mixology of artisanal,
No, it's just all BS. Like he just says so it like vegans will be like, yes, that's what I need in my body.
No offense to vegans.
No offense to vegans. Your food is delicious. Like, oof, vegan food, A+. But like sometimes people can be scammed like that, me included. I eat food that probably does not do anything for me because it says like organic. It's just people do it sometimes.
So Ash starts to push Luke. The cops come out, so he punches him. I appreciated that. I think it was well deserved.
I love how no one's like, "Are you okay?" They're just like, "Yep, you got decked."
We were too slow. Oops.
Shoot.
So Benson and Creasy take on Ash. They're like, we have the admission, we have circumstantial evidence, and then Piper's sympathy card. I really do like the way they like very clearly were like, this is what we have, and we're gonna win with it. It's in any other case, it wouldn't be strong, but in this one, it's gonna work out.
Yeah.
He points out that he is just leveling the playing field. And then we have he feels like such an incel.
He is, for sure.
So he says, I see these guys, they're sweaty desperation, getting rolled by women night after night. If you're going to pick up the check, make sure you're getting something for it.
Ew.
You know what you got for picking up the check? That time you spent with them. You're paying for time.
That was really wholesome, yeah.
Thank you. I mean, if you want to look at it that way, that's what you paid for.
For sure.
Pay for sex, hire a professional.
With the check, whatever. It's 2020.
Anyway, so he then is like, these people, the people in his files, they're not clients. They don't pay me. I didn't rape these women. And he says, just like them, you need me. Because he knows who they are. So he makes a deal to turn in the rapists. He gets 2 years. And then we get another episode where the SVU team is telling the victims how it went down.
I knew you were going to mention that.
Well, because what is happening? Just
in every episode, it's so crazy. I mean, I liked it, but
yes, I appreciate the way it was done. Luke's getting 10 years. We've Benson explained to Piper how the law isn't keeping up with the drugs. Piper says she wants to make a statement at sentencing. And I do like that through this episode, Benson kept being like, the law is not keeping up with technology, with the drugs, with how this is happening.
Yeah.
And it's true. But I would like to see Carisi take someone to trial.
Right. Agree.
That's my complaint.
That's fair. He's so good at it. He killed it last time.
Sure. Eventually.
He won. Okay. He won.
That's true. That's true. So I want to tell you all that I discovered briefly before we started this, that this episode is ripped from a headline.
I did not know that. Tell me what's up.
Yeah, so this is ripped from the Andrew Luster story. Andrew Luster is the great-grandson of cosmetics giant Max Factor Sr. and heir to the Max Factor Cosmetics fortune. And in 2003, he was convicted of multiple sexual assaults using the date rape drug GHB. So in 2000, he was arrested when a student at a local college told police that she was raped at his home. The investigation led them to charging him with drugging 3 women with GHB, sexually assaulting them, and videotaping the assaults. And the cops found the videotapes when they searched his home. And so, yeah, if you want to read more about this, I suggest Googling Andrew Luster, spelled how you'd think it would be spelled.
That sounds like a villain name. Like the name just sounds like he sucks, you know? No offense to anyone else who might be named Andrew Luster, but like
Luster is just not the name you want.
That's not the last name. It's like, I don't feel like I can trust someone with that last name.
Yeah. I was trying to think if how I would sound with that last name, but it doesn't work with Yell.
It doesn't work with anything.
Yeah, but Luster feels like a great name for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it doesn't work with Yell. So like Yell Luster doesn't work. But if my name is Taylor, I can be Taylor Luster.
I don't know about that.
Guys. That's what we just discovered. All right. Moving on. Every week we do a poll. Taylor, tell us about the poll.
Yes. Okay. So last time we spoke, which was 2 weeks ago, I guess.
Yes.
We discussed the episodes Dance, Lies, and Videotape, and also Garland's Baptism by Fire. But our poll was in keeping with the Dance, Lies, and Videotape theme. So we asked what you guys' favorite episode with like dancers prominently featured was, and in last place, 10.5%, we have Dance, Lies, and Videotape. So
interesting.
But that was last place.
Do you know why that was last place? It was because they wasted the John Waters cameo.
They did. I agree with that. In getting the bronze medal, we have She Paints for Vengeance, which is one of the best. So I'm kind of shocked that it's so low because I loved She Paints for Vengeance.
But maybe it's because the dancing portion of it was so small.
That's true. Great episode though. Silver medal, we have Ballerina, which was season 10, episode 16. And then in first place, the winner with 42.1% choreographed, season 8, episode 9.
Interesting. Choreographed, I believe, is the Bob Saget episode and Bella
Yes.
Carol Burnett episode.
Yes. Yes. So
Huh.
it was very interesting results. I
Yeah.
never expected that, but you guys spoke and that's what you said. So just reporting on the facts here.
Okay.
This week, since we had a fun little scene with Amanda getting promoted, which by the way, that was a great scene. I always love seeing the ladies at the gun range. Everything
It's
I wanted.
funny about that scene is I definitely was thinking about when they were shooting the last time we saw them all do a shooting, and then Amanda's were like amazing, and I was like, do we remember that she's really good at this? But they did.
Yeah. And they called her, I think they called her Annie Oakley in the last episode and this episode, which is cute. I love it when they make a little references. But anyway, this week we are asking you what your favorite episode where someone gets promoted is, because we've had a lot of that recently. So of course we have this episode where Rollins gets promoted to second grade, which if you know what that means, let me know. But congrats to her. we have Kat getting promoted to be on the team just in general, which yes, love that. Finn to sergeant, which like obviously he was pretty reluctant, but we are very happy for him. And then we have Olivia to captain, which is currently in the lead. I'm not shocked. I feel like that will win the whole thing, but I think these are all really good. I'm happy for all of them.
Okay. Before we go into predictions, I want to give some shout outs to people who are joining us live in the chat. We have Lizette here, Zach is here, Doreen. Audrey is here as well, and Alice Jones, who asked, at what point are we really surprised it was ripped from the headlines? I think we're less surprised when it's ripped from the headline and more surprised when we aren't familiar with the headline.
Yes, 100%. When I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like usually I'm like, oh, that's because that's from that case, or that's based on that. Based on that person. We can't leave away from that, but it's based on that person.
I love when I don't know that the episode is ripped from a headline and I see something happen and go, I know where they got this idea.
Right. It's like, oh, well, that just ticks me off.
Yeah. Oh, like the James Franco episode where I was like, right, this is James Franco. I recall.
Right. Yep. 100%.
That is Agent Provocateur.
Yes.
I love that episode. Wonderful. Okay. Let me tell you what's happening next week. So in the trailer or the promo for next episode.
Can you say it in the announcer voice, please?
No, because I didn't write it down the way that it was in the thing. I'm sorry.
You're absolutely failing me here.
Wait, I'll do the other. Okay, I'll get there. You'll see. All right, you'll love it. So in the promo for next week's episode, it looks like Finn is going to cross the line. If you didn't figure out who those people are, the man who's getting out of jail is Leon, who abused his wife back in At Midnight in Manhattan from this season. And they had the kid Andre that like Finn took it out of the abusive home and watched for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the case from At Midnight in Manhattan is coming back. But according to IMDb, this I will read in the announcer voice for you.
Thank you.
As Carisi begins the long-anticipated trial of Sir Toby Moore, the SVU faces setbacks in several other cases.
Whoa. I didn't know that this episode would be Toby Moore coming back.
I didn't either, which is why I'm so excited that I found that on IMDb, because I was like, really? We're ending the season with Leon getting out of jail?
Yeah, I was like, that's fine, I guess. But that's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess my prediction based on that, Hadid, you're going down. We've been harping on this all season, and something big has to happen with her. It just has to.
I hope so. I definitely was like, oh, great. Like, we'll finally get whatever that connection is that Toby and Hadid have.
Yeah.
I really like that idea. I do like, so the IMDb description was Carisi begins the trial and the team is dealing setbacks. So I feel like as he's trying to work on the trial and needs them, they're busy with, Leon being released from jail or Finn getting into trouble.
Right. It's going to be pressure from all sides, essentially.
Yeah. But that said, I would like to see Carisi do another trial.
You'd like to see him do something.
It's just that he's been here. He's been our ADA for 20 episodes.
Right.
He's done one trial?
It's been a second. It's been a second.
I would even be okay if they're not going to do it, then I would be okay with like him being annoyed that he's not getting to do it. Somebody
Right.
being like, well,
just
you're new,
acknowledge
so
it.
we're making you do the
Yeah.
arraignments.
Just acknowledge it. Totally.
Yes. Because he's our ADA now.
He is.
It's been 20 episodes.
Yes.
That said,
a lot of law, not a lot of order.
yep. It is our season finale next week
It's sad.
because they could not film the last 4 episodes.
I know. I'm so bummed.
I'm really sad as well that we will not be SVUing every week, and it's summertime somehow.
Yeah.
Any
No.
final thoughts?
I'm just really anticipating what we're going to be left with this season finale. I wonder if it's going to wrap up. I wonder if it's going to end on a cliffhanger. I'm just anxious to see.
I hope that Kat's coming out does lead to more personal life with Kat.
Same. I also hope that we get more of Kat undercover so she can just keep using variations of her name.
Yeah, I would love more undercover. I don't think we'll get that next episode.
Yeah, but maybe next season.
For sure. As a reminder, we have another 3 seasons already secured.
We're going to be here for a second.
Thank whoever. I'm so happy. Thank Dick Wolf.
Thank you, NBC. Thank you.
Taylor, where can everyone find you and the poll?
Yes, you can find me and the poll on Twitter at alphaba_and on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Yay! You can find me everywhere at YelTeagle. That's YAELTYGIEL. I am on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm relaunching my Twitch channel, and we'll be streaming there a lot more, mostly because I'm at home all the time. Stay safe, everybody. Please, please, please stay inside. Wash your hands. Go back, watch our old after shows.
Watch SVU. Yeah, that's all you need to do right now.
Seriously. It's on everywhere. We'll see you next week for the season finale.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV.